Hello, you're listening to the audio version of Parkrun magazine. Thanks so much for joining us. This audio mag is a place to find out more about leading a happier and healthier lifestyle, as well as hearing from the communities and people at the heart of parkrun events across the United Kingdom. It's great to have you here for episode 3 of series 4 of the audio version of Parkrun magazine. During this series, we're sharing some of the stories that featured in issue 4 of the printed edition of the magazine. Coming up in this episode, we talk to an NHS doctor about how getting involved with parkrun might help you to bounce back when life has thrown you a curveball. And we hear about a parkrun wedding. But first, who fancies a takeaway? A takeaway or food delivery can be a nice occasional treat. But with the cost of living crisis showing no sign of easing, making your own fakeaways will save you money. Home-cooked food is often much lower in salt, sugar, saturated fat and additives than bought-in meals too, as well as being tastier. Ruth Cooper, a chef and educator who works with young people, shares some top tips for making your own takeaway-style treats.
Making meals from scratch means you can adapt recipes in ways that could benefit your physical health. However, cooking at home could have a positive impact on your mental health and well-being too. Cooking can be a relaxing, enjoyable and mindful task which allows you to express your creativity. Why not set aside some time to cook solo at a relaxed pace, listening to your favourite podcast or music, or get the whole family involved for a fun, screen-free activity? So rather than waiting around for the doorbell to ring, only to discover that your chips have gone soggy or that your curry has leaked onto your poppadoms, give these fakeaway recipes a try. Making your own gives you control. You can create your perfect juicy beef burger with just the right amount of gherkins. Add extra onion to your thin crust pizza. Make a vegetable curry with the perfect level of heat, or be safe in the knowledge that there's nothing in your meal that could trigger an allergy for you or a member of your family.
Here are some popular fakeaway options for you to try at home. Let's kick off with that classic Saturday night in treat, a curry.
Vegetable curry. Autumn is the time to enjoy delicious UK-grown root vegetables, including beetroot, parsnip, carrots, swede, turnip, and many varieties of squash. These hardy vegetables are a great source of fibre and vitamins, as well as slow-burning complex carbohydrates. This curry recipe can be adapted to use any root vegetables you like, so you don't have to include anything you don't enjoy eating. Although, it's also a great way to experiment with new ingredients. The lentils add a lovely richness and thickness to the sauce, as well as providing healthy proteins and yet more fibre. If you have a freezer, try making a bigger batch and freezing meal-sized portions. We're going to talk about boiling and simmering in this recipe. But what's the difference between simmering and boiling? A liquid is said to be boiling when large bubbles rise rapidly to the surface over a high heat. Once a liquid is boiling, it can be turned down to a simmer. Small bubbles break the surface gently and less frequently. Simmering or boiling liquids should be stirred regularly to avoid burning. Simmering and boiling dishes will reduce their water content, so they will thicken and their flavour will become more concentrated. If you want something to simmer without losing any liquid, put a tight-fitting lid over your pan or pot. Right, let's get on with the curry. This is a butternut squash, cauliflower and lentil curry, and the recipe serves 4. Here are the ingredients. 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil or other flavourless oil. 1 onion, finely chopped. 1 clove of garlic, finely chopped. 1 walnut-sized piece of root ginger, finely chopped. 1 teaspoon of ground coriander. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Half a teaspoon of chili powder or flakes, approximately 1/3 of a butternut squash, around 250 grams, peeled and cut into 2 centimetre cubes, approximately 1/3 of a cauliflower, around 250 grams, cut into small florets, a 400 gram can of chopped tomatoes, 1.2 litres of vegetable stock, made with 1 stock cube, 1 heaped teaspoon of mango chutney, 300 grams of red lentils. This last one's optional. 1 small packet of fresh coriander, roughly chopped. Here's what you do. 1. Put the oil and onion into a large saucepan and gently soften the onion over a low heat for approximately 5 minutes. 2. Still on a low heat, add the garlic and ginger and cook for a further couple of minutes. 3. Stir in all the spices. Cook these for a couple of minutes over a medium heat. Then add the butternut squash and stir. 4. Pour in the tomatoes, the stock, and the chutney. Season well with salt and pepper. Bring to the boil and gently simmer over a low heat for approximately 10 minutes. 5. Add the lentils and simmer for a further 5 minutes before adding the cauliflower. Gently simmer for a further 15 minutes or until the squash and cauliflower are tender but not mushy. 6. Stir in the fresh coriander and serve. Some plain yogurt and mango chutney make great condiments for this curry. You can serve your curry with rice. Try brown rice for a healthier alternative. Or, while the curry is cooking, why not make some quick and easy naan breads? A traditional naan is made with yeast, but this recipe is a very speedy version and just as tasty. Here's what you need. 1 cup of self-raising flour, plus more for dusting. If you don't have a measuring cup, don't worry, use a mug instead. Half a teaspoon of salt. 3/4 of a cup of plain yogurt. Budget own brand yogurt is perfect for this. 1 tablespoon of melted butter for brushing. For a garlic naan, crush a clove of garlic and cook it gently with the butter for 5 minutes before brushing onto the naan. These are some optional extras. Chopped fresh coriander, or black onion seeds, which might be called nigella or kalonji seeds. Here's what you do. 1. Mix the flour, salt and yogurt in a bowl to form a soft dough. This should be a little bit sticky, but not too sticky to handle. Add a little extra flour if it's too wet. 2. Knead the dough on a lightly dusted surface until it is smooth. This should only take a couple of minutes. 3. At this point, you can add your optional extra ingredients, depending on what flavours you would like your naan to have. 4. Divide the dough into 4 and roll each portion out into a large teardrop shape. It should be about the thickness of a £1 coin. 5. Heat a heavy-bottomed frying pan over a high heat. Once it is hot, turn the heat down to medium. The naans are cooked in a dry pan for about 2 minutes each side until they are golden brown with very dark spots or bubbles on the surface. 6. Lightly brush the warm naan with melted butter, with or without added garlic, before serving. Here are just a few curry tips to make your fakeaway even more fabulous. If you don't have or don't want to buy all the dried spices, use a curry powder of your choice. Curry paste is also a great alternative, although it is pricier. Keep any unused paste in the fridge. For a creamier curry, substitute some of the stock with a can of coconut milk. Throw in green vegetables at the end for even more goodness and colour. Spinach, kale, chard, or even frozen peas will cook in the heat of the curry in a few minutes. If you're cooking for people with differing spice tolerances, make a milder curry but serve some chopped fresh chilies on the side. This way, everyone can add as much or as little as they like to their own serving.
That sounds gorgeous. Let's move on now to another favourite takeout. Pizza. With some pizza restaurants charging more than £10 for a single pizza, it's definitely worth having a go at making your own at home. Pizza night is a fun way to involve family or friends in cooking, and everyone can shape and top their own pizza.
Here's what you need to make the dough for 4 medium pizzas. 500 grams of strong white bread flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 300 millilitres of warm water. This should be blood temperature or like a baby's bath. 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And here's what to do. 1. In a large bowl, mix the flour and salt. Make a well in the middle of the flour with a spoon. 2. Add the yeast into the warm water and stir until it has dissolved. Set it aside for a couple of minutes. The yeast should begin to fizz in the water, with tiny bubbles forming. 3. Pour the water and yeast along with the oil into the well you made in the flour. Stir this up until it forms a dough. The dough should be slightly sticky. Adjust the consistency with more flour or water as required. 4. Lightly dust a surface with flour and knead the sticky dough until it becomes smooth and bouncy. 5. Transfer the dough into a clean bowl which has been lightly oiled. Cover with a tea towel and leave in a warm place for its first rise for about an hour, or in a cooler place for longer. 6. Once the dough has doubled in size, remove it from the bowl and knead it again. Divide it into 4 even pieces and form these into balls. 7. Rub each ball lightly with some oil and leave covered with a clean tea towel or some oiled cling film for about 20 minutes or until the balls have risen again. This is the second rise. 8. Very carefully roll or stretch each ball into a thin round shape, about 12 inches or 30 centimetres across. Don't worry about the shape being perfect. You could make square or rectangular pizzas if they fit your tray better, or have fun with some more imaginative shapes. Dust flour on the surface to stop the dough sticking. 9. Place your pizza bases onto floured baking trays. What do we need next? Pizza sauce. Passata or bottle sauces are really convenient. You can buy them with added herbs and garlic. But it's easy to make your own. You can also use this as a pasta sauce or with meatballs. Here's what you need. 1 400-gram can of tomatoes, finely chopped, crushed or blended. 2 cloves of garlic, finely sliced or crushed. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. These bits are optional. A few sprigs of fresh basil, which you remove before using the sauce, or a large pinch of dried oregano. OK, here's what to do. In a saucepan, gently simmer the ingredients together until the excess moisture has evaporated and the sauce is thickened to a good spreading consistency. Season with salt and pepper before using to top your pizza dough. Now here's the fun part. Putting your pizzas together. 1. Top each pizza with a layer of pizza sauce. Next, add your cheese. Mozzarella is traditional, but some additional grated cheddar will add more flavour. You don't need to use expensive mozzarella. Just ensure you've drained any mozzarella balls well before using, so your pizza doesn't get soggy. 2. Now add your preferred toppings. 3. Cook the pizzas in a hot oven, at least 220 degrees, 200 fan or gas 7, but hotter if possible, for about 10 minutes or until the crust is crisp. Timings aren't exact, it depends on how efficient your oven is, the thickness of your dough and which toppings you use, so keep an eye out and use your judgment.
Perfect! Pizza making sounds like a brilliant family activity. Now, let's look at one more fakeaway, the burger. The secret to a tasty burger is buying a good quality mince from your butcher or supermarket. Although you can make burgers with just seasoned mince, adding breadcrumbs and egg will give them a more substantial texture, and they will keep their shape better when cooking. This also means your meat will go further, bringing the cost of this meal down. Don't be afraid to experiment with adding your own seasonings and flavours to the basic mix.
Here's what you need for your basic burger mix. This quantity of ingredients makes 4 or 5 burgers. 500 grams of lean minced beef. 3 handfuls of fresh or dried breadcrumbs. If you don't have breadcrumbs, try crushed plain crackers. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. 1 teaspoon of herbs. Try dried oregano, thyme or mixed herbs or fresh chopped rosemary, basil or thyme. Half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Half a teaspoon of salt. 1 egg, beaten. 1 tablespoon of oil for brushing. Here's how to make your burgers. 1. Place all the ingredients in a large bowl and mix well. Using your hands is easiest. Make sure you really work the ingredients together. 2. Divide into 4 or 5 balls depending on your preferred size of burger. 3. Shape each ball into a patty by rolling it and then pressing it down firmly. If you want a perfect patty, you could use a round cutter as a guide, pressing the mince into it evenly and then lifting the cutter to reveal a beautiful even shape. 4. Brush both sides with oil, place onto a plate and into the fridge to chill and firm up for at least 15 minutes. 5. Cook your burgers in a frying pan or griddle pan. You don't need any extra oil in the pan, under a hot grill or on a barbecue until cooked through. This will take approximately 10 to 12 minutes. Top with cheese if you like and serve with your favourite condiments. And that's not the only meal you can make. This burger recipe also makes good meatballs. Simply form the mixture into smaller balls and fry them until they're brown all over. You can then finish cooking them through by simmering in a pan of whichever sauce you like to serve them with. A simple passata with garlic and herbs works well, or the pizza sauce recipe from earlier in this episode. This way, all the juices from the meatballs will seep into the sauce, adding a richness and depth of flavour. And if you want to make your burgers even more brilliant, try some of these tips. If you don't fancy beef, you can use turkey, pork, or even venison mince. To make your pennies go further, you could substitute some of the mince for cooked lentils or mashed kidney beans or chickpeas. The egg and breadcrumbs will help to bind it all together, and the flavour will not be hugely affected. Here are some other flavourings you might like to try. Chilli, fresh, sauce or powder, Worcester sauce, grainy mustard, garlic powder, horseradish sauce, apple and sage. This works best with pork mince. Spring onions or chives, grated parmesan, cranberry sauce with turkey mince, tomato puree. If you have time, you could make some buns to go with your burgers. Shop-bought burger buns can be full of additives. A homemade bun will elevate yours to a gourmet burger. Use the same basic recipe as we used for pizza dough, but substitute some of the water for milk if you like a softer bun. Shape into 8 to 10 large baps before the second rise. Leave on a lined or oiled baking tray to double in size. Brush with milk and top with sesame seeds. These buns will cook in 15 to 20 minutes in a hot oven, 220 degrees, 200 fan or gas 7. What shall we have with our burgers? How about some skin-on potato wedges? These are so simple to make and a delicious, healthy and cheap alternative to chips. The skin of the potato contains a lot of fibre and nutrients, so keep it on if you can. Wedges can be flavoured with all sorts of extra ingredients. Try crushed garlic and dried oregano, or fresh rosemary, Cajun spices, or some chili powder for an extra kick. Here's everything you need to make enough wedges for 4 people. 4 medium-sized potatoes, washed and blemishes removed. 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil. Flavourings of choice. Salt. And here's how to make them. 1. Preheat the oven to 220 degrees, 200 fan or gas 7. 2. Cut the potatoes into even wedges. 3. Put the wedges into a bowl and toss with the oil and flavourings until they're evenly coated. 4. Place on a baking tray. Non-stick, if you have it, or lined with baking parchment, into a hot oven for approximately 40 minutes, turning occasionally. 5. Sprinkle over some salt to taste. Would you prefer sweet potato wedges? You can use the same method you just heard, but they will cook more quickly and at a lower temperature. Try 30 minutes at 200 degrees, 180 fan or gas 6.
Wow, some amazing ideas there. Hopefully you've been inspired to try your own Fakeaways. You might save a bit of cash too. Perhaps a Friday night treat meal is a familiar part of your week. It's nice to have something to look forward to. Because, as we know, life is never predictable. It changes in wonderful and heartbreaking ways. And sometimes you have to adapt to new circumstances. In the second of our series of articles from NHS professionals about bouncing back, Dr. Joe Fleming, an NHS health and wellbeing coach based in Warwickshire, delivering an NHS-based fitness club and lifestyle clinic, talks through ways parkrun can help when your life changes unexpectedly. Her words are voiced by an actor.
I remember my very first parkrun. It was the 1st of January 2009, and it wasn't even called parkrun. It was the Bushy Park Time Trial. But as we know, parkrun has transformed from a small London time trial into a global public health and social movement. In many ways, I feel like I've grown with parkrun. It has seen me through job changes and house moves. It has been with me for my hen party. Yes, I ran parkrun on my hen do, during my pregnancies and when I became a parent. Parkrun was with me as my mum became increasingly ill with cancer, and most significantly, it was with me during and after her death. My relationship with parkrun has changed, but so too has its ability to help me move through the various stages of my life as positively as possible. So many things can knock us for six. A job loss, a cancer diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, or a relationship breakdown perhaps. Even planned happy events, having a baby maybe, will change your life forever. How do you respond to these life changes? Are you in shock, scared, angry or sad? It's hard to turn these feelings into positive, productive outcomes. Our ability to regain mental health despite experiencing adversity is known as resilience, bouncing back. Broadly, two factors affect our resilience: internal, personal strengths, and external, relationships and environments. New situations can feel overwhelming. Try to focus on small, positive things you can do, rather than the overall big picture. It may be really hard to imagine a positive future, but try to ask yourself these questions. How can I make the most immediate positive impact on my current situation? Which positive elements of myself, before and after this setback, can I focus on? How can I direct my efforts into a situation that will make me feel happy? Who can I surround myself with to help me move myself forward? So where does parkrun fit in? A life change might introduce you to parkrun, maybe reclaiming some me time or working towards a rediscovered fitness goal. Or you might use parkrun to suit current circumstances. Parkrun can be everything you need. It's a place to volunteer, to meet friends, to get fit, or to meet people for help and support. The very nature of parkrun means it can work for you wherever you are in life. Whether you walk, jog, run, volunteer, or spectate, there will be someone nearby to talk to. A conversation might help you to find support. If you are new to parkrun or have not been for a while, check out the website or social media page for your nearest event to find out what the course is like, how to get there, and where people go for a post-parkrun coffee. Knowing what to expect can help to alleviate any nerves. You'll find all the volunteers will be friendly and supportive, and you can ask questions at the first-timers welcome briefing. Now let's examine how you can make the most immediate, positive impact on your current situation. Which aspect of parkrun might help you to move forward? Finding out about a group? Volunteering? If eventually running a parkrun is your aim, break it down further. Do you want to spectate first, then volunteer, then walk jog, then run? Would using the NHS Couch to 5K app help you? Work out the small positive steps forward you can take to start you on your journey. For me, every parkrun I do tells a different story. Sometimes I walk, run, or volunteer with my family. Sometimes I run with friends. And the last parkrun of every month is a special day, where I enjoy my role as a 5K Your Way ambassador, connecting with others who have been affected by cancer. Whatever stage you are at, I encourage you to consider how parkrun can help you too. Here are some ways parkrun might be able to help you. If you've been diagnosed with a new health condition, it can be a scary time. Continuing to be physically and mentally active can help. Parkrun actively encourages inclusion and participation, no matter where you find yourself. If you'd like to get fitter, You might want to start by walking to a spot on the course to watch, or joining a park walker to take some or all of the route at a pace that works for you. Perhaps you're using the NHS Couch to 5K programme. Parkrun is an ideal place for that. Are you pregnant and would like to be active? Being active before, during and after pregnancy is important, as it can help to reduce some potential health risks for both mother and baby. Have you been affected by cancer? If cancer has impacted your life, you'll find an active support group through 5K Your Way. www.5kyourway.org. 5K Your Way groups meet at the last parkrun of the month and inspire and empower people affected by cancer to live an active, fulfilling lifestyle. Parkrun charity partner Macmillan is also working tirelessly to find better ways to help and support people affected by cancer.
Parkrun really can give you the tools to change your life. Maybe you know someone who'd benefit from coming along on a Saturday or Sunday morning. We're almost at the end of this episode, so let's round off with another real-life story from the Parkrun inbox. Emma Davis usually goes to Brockwell Parkrun in London, but took a trip to Wales for a very special occasion.
Emma says, Parkrun has always been a very important part of my life and my relationship, so I was absolutely thrilled when my husband agreed to take part in Barry Island Parkrun on our wedding day morning. My dad volunteered as park walker for his very first parkrun, and our best man marshalled. It was the best morning of the best day of my life. Dad's been back to parkrun. I think he originally thought you had to run, but is now exploring new parkruns by walking them.
What a fantastic story, and what a brilliant idea to start off your wedding day with parkrun. Well, that's it for this episode. Are you feeling inspired to rustle up burgers or a pizza instead of paying for a delivery? Perhaps Dr. Joe's story has made you think about checking out parkrun for the very first time. Please join us again for episode 4. We'll travel to Glasgow to meet the Saturday crew at Springburn Parkrun, and we've got a special focus on volunteering. Thank you for listening to Parkrun Magazine. We hope you liked the features and enjoyed our simple ways to take steps towards a happier and healthier life. To find out more about your local parkrun event or collect a free copy of the printed magazine, head over to magazine.parkrun.com. Parkrun Magazine is created by Parkrun, with the audio version made possible through editing and audio adaptation by Imogen Lees, and production by Like the Wind Media and Runcomm. If you enjoyed listening, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with others. That's all for this episode. We hope you enjoy the next one.